You know that feeling, right? You're doing everything right, hitting every deadline, staying calm when everything's falling apart, picking up the slack when others drop the ball. And yet, it's as if you've become invisible. You sit in meetings watching your ideas get brushed aside. Someone else gets the credit for the work you stayed until 9 p.m. to finish. You're the one everyone calls when they're in trouble, but somehow never the one they think of when it's time for recognition. And bit by bit, it chips away at you. I need to say this right up front, it's not in your head. I've been there. That gnawing feeling that something's just off. You can't even name it sometimes. You just know deep in your gut that something isn't sitting right. You feel like a ghost floating through the office, present but somehow optional. And that confusion? That's actually the worst part. Because if there was one massive thing you could point to, maybe you could fix it. But when it's vague, when it's just this feeling you can't shake, that's when it really messes with your confidence. Here's what the latest research tells us. More than 64% of employees feel disengaged or lacking in enthusiasm about their work. And 45% say they feel undervalued by their employer. Source Indeed.com UK. That's nearly half the workforce. So if you've been questioning whether you're just being sensitive or taking things too personally, stop. You're not. You're actually waking up to something that desperately needs attention. Let me break this down for you. What not feeling valued actually looks like. Sometimes it's subtle. You're left out of decisions you should be part of. Your ideas get that polite nod, but no one ever follows up. You rarely hear thank you, let alone well done. Sometimes it's blindingly obvious. Someone else gets praised for the work you did. You're constantly the backup plan, never the first choice. You're told to just get on with it. No context, no feedback, no support. And then there are times when you just feel it. You can't point to one clear incident. But the atmosphere, the silence, the lack of warmth, it all adds up. You start wondering if you're imagining things. Let me reassure you again, you're not. There's this invisible line between being competent and being taken for granted. Once you cross over to the wrong side, it's incredibly hard to shake that feeling that nothing you do really matters. I recall a similar experience in my career. I was the reliable one, the one who always said yes, the one who sorted everything out behind the scenes. But when promotion time came, I was told I wasn't visible enough. The irony wasn't lost on me. Let's be clear about something. This isn't about ego. It's not about needing constant praise or validation. This is about belonging. It's about psychological safety. It's about the fundamental human need to feel seen and valued for who you are and what you contribute. When that's missing, everything starts to unravel. Your confidence takes a nosedive. Your motivation disappears. You start shrinking yourself to try and fit in. And if it goes on too long, the real damage begins. Burnout becomes inevitable. Resentment builds like pressure in a kettle. You might even start underperforming, not because you don't care, but because caring hurts too much. This is where concepts like quiet quitting originate, or staying physically present but mentally checking out. It's not laziness. It's self-preservation. Your brain is literally protecting you from further emotional damage by disengaging. Why this happens and why it's usually not personal. So why does this keep happening? Here's what the latest research and thousands of real conversations with leaders and employees have taught me. First, managers are drowning in their own pressure. Most line managers are under enormous pressure themselves. Recognition becomes a nice to have rather than an essential leadership skill. They're not deliberately withholding appreciation. They're just overwhelmed and haven't been taught the importance of this. Next, praise culture is at best patchy. In some teams, saying thank you just isn't the norm. You're expected to get on with it because that's what you're paid for. It's a toxic mindset, but it's incredibly common across British workplaces. Also, unconscious bias plays a significant role. Women and employees from diverse backgrounds are statistically more likely to feel overlooked or under-recognised. Their contributions are often minimised or attributed to others without anyone even realising it's happening. Often there's a mismatch of expectations. You joined with one clear understanding of what the role would involve, but the reality turned out to be completely different. No one bothered to reset expectations or explain how recognition works in this particular environment. Often feedback loops are completely broken. You give and give and give, but there's no information flowing back to you. You don't know where you stand, what's working well, or what needs adjusting. It's like working in a communication vacuum. And sometimes, it's nobody's fault specifically. It's just a slow-growing culture of neglect. A workplace that runs on autopilot rather than acknowledgement. That's actually the hardest type to spot, until you're the one feeling the impact. What narrative have you started running in your head? That you're not good enough? That if you just worked harder, stayed later, said yes more often, they'd finally see you? That maybe you're just not cut out for this? I want to offer you a different story. You're not the problem. But you might need a complete reset. Not just to change how they see you, but to remember how you see yourself. Because here's what I've learned after years of helping people through this. The workplace might not reflect your value right now, but that doesn't diminish your worth one bit. The challenge is building that sense of value from within, regardless of external validation. And yes, that's much easier said than done when you're in the thick of it. In the next episode, I'm going to share exactly how to shift this. What to do when your workplace doesn't reflect your true value, and how to build unshakable confidence from the inside out. We'll explore how to quiet that inner critic that's making everything worse, why self-compassion is actually your secret weapon, practical ways to increase your visibility without burning yourself out, how to have those crucial conversations about recognition. Because here's the truth, being valued starts with how you value yourself. And once you master that, everything else becomes possible. I'll see you there.